U.S. media and an unnamed official in Washington say the United States called off a planned operation to attack Iranian targets, that in retaliation for the downing of an American Navy drone. The reports say American forces were in position to strike Iranian radar and missile batteries when the operation was called off. Iran and the U.S. have offered conflicting accounts of where the Global Hawk drone was shot down. Iran says it has evidence the drone violated Iranian airspace. The U.S. denies that. The tensions have prompted many airlines to divert flights through that region. DW's Mariana Evanstein is following this story for us today. Good morning, Mariana. If the New York Times accounts are confirmed, this looks like an abrupt reversal by Washington.
Indeed it does, Brian. I mean, we do know it was a day of escalating tensions after that U.S. spy drone was shot down. Officials were deliberating how do they respond. And in fact, as late as 7 p.m., it seemed as though there would be a limited strike against Iran, targeting things like radar or missile batteries. But then, Brian, it was called off in its early stages. According to the New York Times, the planes were in the air, ships were in position, but no missiles had been fired when word came to stand down. And it's still unclear at this point whether it was because President Trump himself changed his mind or whether Pentagon officials decided a change in strategy or decided to call it off due to a change, logistics challenges. Okay, now we know that the president has repeatedly said he does not want to be involved in any new wars under his administration. Now, there are, though, a lot of different voices in Washington weighing in on what to do with Iran. You're right, Brian. I mean, this really does underscore that tension for Donald Trump between his desire to appear strong on the world stage and also his campaign promise not to involve Americans in any further international conflicts. But around him, he's got the hawks, people like John Bolton, the National Security Advisor, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, even Gina Haspel, the CIA director, are all advocating a more confrontational approach with the Iran shooting down. This drone offers them a boost in their arguments for a military response. But some Pentagon officials are cautioning such a move, a military move, could really spark a greater escalation that could put U.S. forces in the region at risk. And, of course, congressional Democrats who were briefed on the situation all urged President Trump to exercise restraint. And if they do want some sort of military response, to seek congressional approval for that. Okay, that is what's firming up on the Hill right now, congressional approval. Mariana, thanks for now. We'll have more details as they come in from Washington. Let's get the view now from Iran. We're joined by Nasser Hadian, professor of international relations at Tehran University. Thanks so much for coming in. Can you tell us what's Iran's view of this incident, the downing of the drone?
Certainly, Iran thinks that the Global Hawk has violated Iranian airspace, and they think this is the beginning. And if they don't stand strong, that's going to be repeated. So that's why they responded. I would like to basically mention two important and crucial points. One is, let's not forget, even the Americans are talking about 9 miles away from Iranian airspace. In the minds of very many Iranians, the question is why U.S. More than about several thousand miles away from our border should come here and have basically coming that close to our airspace. The belief is that U.S. wants to provoke. That's a provocation. Okay, well, what would you say to the Americans when they say these are crucial shipping lanes, the Strait of Hormuz, to protect the world's oil supply? Yes, I mean, that's certainly we share that one. Iran has more interest to have the Strait of Hormuz to be open. So that's why, at the end of the day, we are very crucial in basically making it safe as we have been doing it from before. But you know that's not only the case that they want to open that Strait of Hormuz. They are there, they are present because of a number of other reasons. They may be justified for the minds of Americans, but certainly it is not justified for many in the region. That why U.S. several thousand miles away should be here and provoke. I mean, being here is one question, and provoking is entirely another question.
Okay, the Americans would say that the provocation is Iran shooting down the drone, that is the actual provocation.
No, why the drone should fly that close to our border? Even if, of course, Iran claims that, I mean, they are close to the border, but why? Because that's a reconnaissance plane. They are collecting intelligence, they are collecting information. For what? To take action. So Iran is going to be sensitive. I don't want to justify for what I would have exercised certainly caution in Iran, and I would recommend more caution in Iran. But let's not forget the context. It is very volatile environment. It is very tense environment, and we are bound to make a miscalculation and misunderstanding and misinterpretation in such an environment. Both countries should exercise caution, but let's not forget the bigger picture. But my next point, which is very crucial, is
Professor Hadian, I'd like to cut in if I could and ask you one question. We're running out of time, and I want to ask you about the people in Iran. How concerned are they about the possibility of a conflict? Do they want one? Do they want to see both governments pull back from the brink and exercise the restraint you just mentioned?
Certainly, the absolute majority of the people want that. They don't want to see tension rise because that would not serve anyone's interest. But the next point is, it's going to happen again. Certainly, it's going to happen again. It's not going to be the last. It's not the first, and it's not going to be the last. Thus, if Iran cannot, if U.S. try to put us in the corner and apply pressure, not letting us to sell our oil or petrochemical stuff or some other things, Iran is going to show reaction. They are not going to stand by and say, let's Americans do whatever they want, particularly considering JCPOA was an agreement, which it was not between Iran and the U.S. The whole world community supported it, and President Trump, with no justification, just only because of domestic politics, withdraw
Nasser Hadian,
from
Professor,
the JCPOA.
Professor Hadian, I'm sorry, we're going to have to leave it there. Nasser Hadian, Professor of International Relations at Tehran University. I really appreciate you coming in. We all appreciate your comments this morning. Thanks very much for The View from Tehran.
I appreciate it.